Hi everyone. I am not gonna do a makeup video today. I have to go back and get my car today. And the makeup video I was gonna do today was the green. And I just didn't feel like going over there with green lipstick and all dramatic makeup. So I just did my go-to for this month. So Wednesday, I had to clean my brushes. I had like no more foundation brushes. I had to like I don't think I've cleaned brushes all summer long. And so you're talking about a good 4 months. I was scrubbing for hours on Wednesday, and I got a call from one of the assistants telling me that my car was ready, but that an ABS light went on, but they disconnected the battery. I don't know to do what, and now it's going to take up to 100 miles before it will reset. And you know they can keep it for a few more days, or I can just pick it up. And I was like, by the time I was a little bit more than halfway done cleaning my brushes. I knew I needed to get this done. It's been 4 months. I knew it was going to take me an hour to get ready, and then I knew I had to wipe down the car, get gas. It was going to take me another hour to get to her. It was almost 3. They leave at like 6. I'm like, this is not going to happen. And I couldn't go yesterday because I had to pick up my son. So I have to go today. I want my car back. I hate driving someone else's car. It's nerve-wracking. I'm afraid that something bad's going to happen. So I just want my car back. And then I got a call late yesterday. Well, first of all, I didn't get home till like 5:30, so I called, and I knew all the technicians had left by then. I said, well, did you drive my car around to see if maybe, they said they wanted to keep it to drive it around to see if the ABS light would come back on. No, they didn't have time. I said, fine, I'll just pick up my car tomorrow. And then I got a call about 6:37 from the head mechanic, and he's like, I want to confirm a few things, and before you come and get it. I'm like, oh my God. I said, look, I'm coming in the early afternoon. Can I come get my car? And he's like, yeah, that should be fine. I'll just make sure I get with my technician early and make sure just to get a few last minute things settled, and I just want my car back. So anyway, that's why I did not do. I'm over here speaking for like 5 minutes because I just want to let you guys know why I'm not doing a video today. I just don't want to go over there with dramatic makeup and fake lashes and green lipstick. I was going to do the last mermaid look. Anyway, so I just wanted to, I've been dying to share this with you, and I'm probably going to forget important details, but I've just been dying to share with you just the good that has happened to me with this whole not having a car thing. Is horrible when you live in a place where there's no buses, and you need to drive to get to places. It's not like New York City. You need a vehicle to get around. And thank God my son only has 2 days of school, and then he does 2 computer class. 2 days of computer class, 2 days of school. That has been a huge help. So when I last spoke to you 2 weeks ago, the next day I'm getting ready to use my husband's supervisor's car, and her car would not start. And I mean, we were all ready to go. It was about we usually about 20 to 12, because it's 20 to 1 because this class starts at 1:20. And I'm all ready to go. I'm just glad that I'm able to get him to school. I know he had to take that test, and her car won't start, so I'm starting to panic. I went to my neighbor. I don't like bothering my neighbors, but my neighbor's really good. I told you last time they wanted to help me with my daughter when she couldn't move, and so I asked them. And I hated to bother them, but they were willing to help me to drive him to school. I said, look, if you just drive my son, I'd appreciate it. I'll give you some money for gas. I only have $5 on my account. And he was like, no, that's okay. And I was like, went into like a depression at that moment. I'm like, what am I going to do here? They told me I couldn't drive the car because it was the alternator, and the alternator could give out at any moment. And I went to call a rental. I was thinking, you know, they said they're as low as $10, and I don't know, when you look, it goes up to $70. But I went to call a rental again, desperate. I knew that I wouldn't have to pay them, you know, until I brought back the car. So I figured I'm getting paid the next day, I'll be good. They're not doing rentals. They said right now everything is for Hurricane Harvey. They're not doing any rentals right now. Only for people who are going through their insurance company to get a car because their car's getting fixed from Hurricane Harvey. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to call an Uber. All I have was $5 on my account. You know, they're gonna charge me $50 to take them there. $100. It's gonna be $100 total, and then to come back. So I was like, that's insane, because I've called like these places before. So I didn't want to do Uber, and it was like this whole big process, and it's, you know, clock's ticking, and it's 12 o'clock. He has to be in school in 20 minutes. And I called the church, and the person who picked up the phone, now it's noon, said that they were there alone and they could not help me, but they would call around, see if they could get me help. Anyway, it was already like 1:15, and I called back because I didn't hear from them, and someone else picked up the phone. And now I know this person's not alone. This person can help me. And they, you know, they had asked me, where do you want me to take the car? Where do you want me to drive you guys? And I was like, to San Jacinto. It's about a 25-minute drive. So somebody else picks up the phone, and they recognize my voice. I don't know who they were, but they recognized my voice. And they were like, oh, you know, hi, Charlene. Let me go ask, you know, him. I don't want to mention names. And he doesn't even pick up the phone. He says, I'm sorry, but he says, tell her I'm sorry, I couldn't find nobody to drive her. I am like at my wit's end. No, now I remember, he had to be in school at 12. They asked him to be in school an hour and a half early. And, or by 12:15 or something like that. So it was like, I think it was, there you go, it was about like 11. All I know is that we were up and ready to go early so that he can make this test. All he said was, tell her that, sorry, I couldn't find nobody, sorry. I was like so hurt because someone was there now. There's no excuse for him not to be able to take me. You know, this is the church that I attend. This is my church, and you're not going to help someone from your own congregation. I mean, he knew who I was because my husband, you know, goes like to the men's fellowship, so he knew who I was. So like, why would you do so? My own church wouldn't help me, yet my neighbors will, and my husband's co-worker will. You know, that just brought back all the feelings I've had before about churches. I just went into a deep depression, and my son, you know, was brought to the school by my neighbor. Thank God he made it in time. Again, I'm getting the times confused, but I know we were trying to make it way earlier so we wouldn't be late. So I know he made it just in time. So I just thank God he was able to, you know, take his test, and I was relieved about that. But I went into such a deep depression, and I was like, how am I going to pick him up? So my husband said he was going to work, try to see how he can fix her car. He calls me back about half an hour later that it was that her battery was dead, so he just gave her a boost. So I was like, okay, that's how I'm going to pick up my son. But I was in a deep depression because of you know, what I just went through. I'm like, what the heck? I don't have a car. I can't use my car. I couldn't use her car. My own church wouldn't help me. I was like such a depression. And my daughter's like, Mom, let's just play Mario Bros. I haven't played that in such a long time. We basically, that week, I couldn't go anywhere or do anything, and that's what I did, and that really helped a lot to get me out of my depression. But what the other side of that story is how blessed I was that my husband's supervisor, that's the new one that came that I mentioned earlier, she was so willing to let us use her car. And when I went to go, and my neighbor, drove him. That's gas out of her pocket. I went online. I found out how many miles to a gallon, how much a gallon costs, and I was going to give them a little bit more because I don't have a lot of money, but I was going to give them a little bit more because I need to do my own gas, and I needed to drive this car all the way over to it's like 3 towns. I would call it like 3 towns away, I was like, I'm going to give them a gas card with a thank you note. I haven't been able to do that yet because it's just been crazy. So I was just all depressed. I went on Facebook, I spoke about it, and someone said, I donate, not a lot, a little bit of money twice a year to people in need. And you have been going through so much. And she sent me $100. Because I might need a tow, or I might have to pay that. I was like desperate enough to go down to the Dodge and pay the $130, whatever that, I forgot what it is, the diagnostic fee. And I just started crying. I was like, first I was depressed that my church wouldn't help me. And then I was just so blessed. I was crying. That put me at such ease to be able to, now I know, I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? If the car breaks down, how much is it going to be to tow it? I didn't trust Dodge because they find an excuse to charge you the fee. Should I just go, there's like just one stop off the highway. Should I go to them? Or should I just tow it to CarMax? Because they're the ones who have the insurance through them, the extended warranty. And that $100 just put me so much at ease. When it came time to go pick up my son, the battery died again. And this woman was like at her wit's end because she had, important people coming over, and she was just beside herself that her car wasn't working. It's like the second time her battery dies. And now I gotta go pick up my son, and the battery died again. And so I went to my neighbor and said, well, my husband just said, look, can you ask the neighbor if they can move their car and I can drive in one of their work vehicles, and I could get it started. She just opened up her car and said, here, use my car. I was like, you guys are angels, man. You guys are angels. That they how they helped me so much that day. And we got the car started again, and when I got into the car, I noticed that her lights were on inside. They were burning hot. She thought when you close the door, the lights turn off automatically, but somebody must have been pressing the lights, must have accidentally put it or forgot to turn them off, whatever. But the lights were on, and you have to make sure that they're off. And that's why her battery kept dying. But thank God I went and I picked up my son, and I picked up my mail. I had not picked up my mail in about a week because I have the arthritis. They gave me the shots. I'm doing better, but I can't overdo it. It's still sensitive. And I didn't want to walk all the way to the front because I'm all the way in the back. And I used to do it before my arthritis kicked in really bad. I used to do it, but I don't do it anymore. I just drive the car up there. And I said, you know what? I haven't picked up the mail. They're going to stop delivering it if it's too full. So I went and I got my mail. And I noticed that Stephanie got something from the state. And so the next day I was going through the mail, and I find out that they were giving out, the state has been giving out relief because of Hurricane Harvey. And my daughter had received $170, but it had to be used the next day, and I don't have a car. And let me tell you, I was ready. Somebody threw out a Kohl's. One of the perks of working in the business of maintenance is that when people abandon the apartments, sometimes they leave stuff behind that's useful. And so my husband was like, you know, since he has bad knees, and then my daughter has really bad arthritis, and my son has a bad back, you know, we all have bad backs, except for my husband, he has bad knees, that would help us bring in the groceries up to the second floor. So he kept it. I said, I don't care if I have to walk. I'm walking with this thing. I'll just use the money that's, you know, get groceries with that money, and then just, you know, walk home. I don't care. You know, I don't care if I'm dying for a week, if I can't move for a week. I'm not going to let that money go to waste. I was like, I felt like we were eating crackers. Well, we were eating tuna fish with bread. We ran out of bread. We were eating crackers because we had no meat. We spent all our money on this battery. If I had gotten the mail earlier, I don't know when that came in. I do not know when that letter came in. But if I had gotten that letter earlier, we would have been able to get some groceries. I was like, oh my sweet Lord. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My husband had just gotten paid, but our house was empty. Empty, empty, empty. We ran out of milk. We ran out of bread. We were eating crackers with tuna fish. We ran out of fruits. And, you know, forget dieting. You have to eat whatever's there. I had the food from Hurricane Harvey that has saved, so we were eating that. And we could have had more stuff, you know, to eat. I could have got meat. And I think I just ran out of rice, too. And I don't know when, but I was afraid. I was so afraid. But I called his supervisor again. Because I don't like to, like, you know, I don't like to, like, mess. I feel like bad to bother people. Like, you know, that's their gas money, that's their car, that's their, you know, your wear and tear. It's not, I mean, it's not far because it was just 12 miles round trip. And the grocery store was only like 1 mile, 2 miles round trip, or 2.5. And I just didn't, I don't like bothering people. But I was like, look, we've had no food in the house. I could have used this money earlier. I said, can we please borrow your car again just to do a grocery? She's like, no problem. She said she was able to use her car that morning, so it's good. And we did a grocery. Her car's a lot smaller than ours. We between that money and my husband's money, we were able to fill our cupboards and fridge again. Thank God, because I knew that we were going to do a big grocery with that, with the house being completely empty almost. So it was just such a blessing, you know, that here I was depressed the whole week, and you know, and there was a blessing right there waiting for me. And the thing is, I got it before it expired. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this can't be true. But it was, and we did we could barely fit the grocery in her car. And my husband, I was like, how are we going to get to, my husband just had pulled in for lunch, or what, so he could take lunch at 3 in the afternoon, doesn't matter. And she was like, as long as you get that car to me, you know, before the evening, because I'm going to go away. So if I had not called her, we wouldn't have had a car because she was leaving. So we got it back to her, gave her a big hug. I bought some thank you notes, but I still keep forgetting to get the gas cards because it's been insane. After that, we, you know, so we had food. We waited it out till Monday. We were like stuck in here. I was like, I said, it was like Hurricane Harvey. I was like going through, you know, stir crazy in here. We were just playing video games, me and my daughter playing video games, and my husband and my son got involved, and we were all playing video games all weekend. You know, playing Mario all weekend. And then finally Monday comes. I'm like a nervous wreck. What if this car doesn't start? So I start out 2 to 3 hours early in case I need to call someone for a tow. I felt confident now because I had that money. And usually I tell people, no, it's okay. But I was like, I'm desperate right now. I'm at my wit's end. So she sent me $100, and you know, so I would have put out whatever extra it was. But the car was doing the same thing. It's turning, but it's not turning on. And my husband kept saying, that sounds like the fuel injection. I'm like, you don't know better than the mechanics. They said it was either the alternator or the starter, you know. And so the car, I couldn't get it started. I was ready to call a tow when my daughter is like, and it turns on. So she says, don't let it, my daughter has this magic touch that gets it going. Don't keep turning, just try once and stop. Try once and stop. Don't just leave it in and let it go and go and go. So she got it going. So I was like, yay. I didn't stop. I mean, we were at half a tank, and I don't like to drive out. Anytime I'm going to drive half an hour more, I don't like walking around. I like a full tank. But I was like, I know this will get me there. I didn't stop for gas. We didn't even stop to get food. We just went straight there. I was there an hour and a half early. And I said, I'm an hour and a half early because I wasn't sure I was going to need a tow. No problem. So they're looking at the car. We were there all day, and they even had the shuttle service where they took us for lunch. Let us drop us off to eat and then picked us up. And then they told me my car was ready because it was just an electrical issue, and they just had to reset the electrical, whatever that is, and I'm fine. So I'm like, something that simple? So okay, I was able to drive home. I wanted to stop off. I was gonna stop off at Target to see if they had maybe they got the Halloween in. And my daughter's like, don't even do it, Mom. I'm too scared. Because when I turned it on, it sounded funny. It went on, but it sounded funny. So we get home. I'm like, okay, cool. We make dinner, we eat, get up in the morning, and the car is doing it again. So now I'm going to get into the frustration of it. First, I just wanted to tell you the blessing. I was just so excited, but the car still wouldn't start, and that's why I wasn't able to come last week, because I had to drive it back again. I was at my wit's end. I was like calling them up like, what the heck? I was like freaking out, and I was like, you can't make me wait another week. We need to take care of this now. I need to drive my son to school. I cannot keep borrowing people's cars. I'm scared. What if I scratch it? What if somebody else scratches it? What if somebody crashes into me? If I get it dirty, because we eat in the car, we make a mess, And he was like, just bring it tomorrow. We have an opening tomorrow. We'll try to take you as soon as possible. So we drive back there, and they cannot find the problem. There's no codes coming up, and they said they had to manually check the car now. They said that there was nothing wrong with the alternator, nothing wrong with the starter. He had a brand new battery. All the wires were fine. So now, when that happens, they said the only thing it could be is the fuel injection. My husband's like, I called my husband. He's like, I told you so. So he's like, I know you can. I'm like, I don't have money to be Ubering around, So he said he was going to give me a loaner. And because the warranty will give you a car, but I'm not sure what the criteria is. So he just gave me a loaner. And he gave me a car that was smaller than my car. And I was like, I had a hard time fitting in because I have the enlarged penis. Sidetrack from that, I finally called my plastic surgeon. He was so hopeful, and that he was going to be able to do this. And someone said they were going to call me back again. Another week passed, and now we're going 2 months later, when they said it would take 2 weeks to a month. And when I finally called back, or when I called them back, the problem was that Blue Cross Blue Shield approves the surgery. That's not the problem. The problem is, I'm just ballparking here, the surgery is about $6,000, and they approve it. But then when it comes time to pay, they'll pay them only $600. Like, what the heck? So because of that, he's not doing any more surgeries for Blue Cross Blue Shield. So that's so frustrating. I could not fit in the car. The wheel, these new cars are weird. They're all electrical. They're all digital now. They're all Wi-Fi ready now. I'm in this car. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm trying to drive. And because my penis is too big, I'm squished under the wheel. And my leg would not reach the gas pedal. And my foot is slipping. So we stopped. We stopped at Hobby Lobby because, I love to crochet. And that's when I said, you know what, if I can't fit in the car, my son is about 6'4", he's not going to fit in the car, and I need to take him to school. And my foot keeps slipping off the brake. I don't want to get into a crash. So I called, me and my daughter were exhausted. I mean, we spent 2 days there. And so I called them back. I said, look, this isn't going to work. You know, please, I need a van. And it looks as big as my van almost from the outside, but on the inside, it's, oh my goodness. And so they said, well, let me call you back in 15 minutes. And so we just were walking around Hobby Lobby, just walking in the little shopping center, maybe about 2 miles. We had gone about 2 miles, maybe no more than 5. And they called me back and said they have a van for me. Thank God. So I had to drive back. I got the van, and I was a little bit more familiar with it because it was the same kind of car that my husband's supervisor had. And she's just turned out to be such a good person to us. Our neighbors are so good to us. You know, I get blessed by somebody on Facebook, you know, and I'm like, just so like, just feeling overwhelmed with blessings. And I was like, since I got used to her car, I recognize her car, I can do this, you know. So it's really weird. It's like, honestly, I'm not used to it. I don't know if I would want a car like that. I don't know what I'm going to do when it's time to get a new car. But at the same time, it has one of the advantages is it's the Kias let you see behind you, and that really came in handy this week because I was parked. The guy that was parked across from me in a parking lot getting medicine at Walmart was a giant truck, and I could barely get out of there. And that thing was telling me you're getting too close. There's a little thing that tells you you're getting too close. It shows you. I love that. I love that because you've got eyes behind your head. I love it. It's awesome. But other than that, I'm not crazy about these. I don't know what I'm doing in that car. But anyway, so I was more familiar with that. And I've been driving it. They said, oh, it'll be a week. And, you know, like they said Wednesday it's ready. However, they said the ABS. And so I'm getting it today. And, you know, we do our best not to use that car. I'm afraid it's going to get scratched or something. And I just get nervous driving it around, but it's just been really good. The car, it's you know, it's been school and back. You know, so the lady said I could come Wednesday, but she called me. It was almost 3, and there was no way. I was in the middle of scrubbing these brushes. I said, if I don't finish this, it's not gonna get done. And it was, oh my, so I let it go for so long that the foundation was really in those brushes. And not only that, I knew it would take me at least an hour to get ready. I know how to wipe down the car, get gas, and I knew, so it was probably going to be after 6 by the time I got over there. So, and then now he's telling me yesterday, well, we just want to check a few more things. But I know how to get my car today, and that's why I'm not doing a video. And like I said, last week, you know, Wednesday I was going to do it Wednesday, but I had to bring the car back, and then, you know, school on Thursday, and then I had a doctor's appointment on Friday, and then the weekends, no way, now with my family here, and my husband and my son up and about, and I needed to just rest. I really, really needed to just rest. And then Monday I had to take my daughter to a doctor that takes her insurance. That was pretty far, but an area I'm familiar with, a nice area. So, you know, you know, then Wednesday I just really had to do that. I really had to clean those brushes. And so I was going to do my video today, but I have to pick it up. So I am doing a video, I just couldn't do a tutorial.